Kenny Baker shooting, pool party crooting, and NCAA rulings. Oh my.
You are Locked On Longhorns, your daily podcast on the Texas Longhorns. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Longhorns, the show. Lacey Butler and Jonathan Davis, your hosts, and we are finally getting into the fun part of the year, y'all. Late summer, a lot of high school prospects wanting to pull the trigger and everything before settling into their commitment, into their senior season. Fall camp starts next week, which means we're about a month away, and football is almost here, you guys. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of today's episode, let's hear a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. As playoffs wind down, the sports stop sporting like we want them to, but this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone, every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started today. Kenny Baker finally gets his big one, y'all, and flips four-star defensive lineman Josiah Sharma from Dan Lanning in Oregon. Y'all, we've really been needing a win on that side of the ball, specifically at the D tackle position, with losing guys like T'Vondre Sweat, Byron Murphy to the NFL, and honestly, like, I got to admit, it feels pretty dang good to get a win on the defensive line in particular, but specifically over Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks, because they've just been on an absolute rampage recently, obviously taking away not only Josiah Sharma, but DeCorian Moore as well, and a plethora of other guys. They've just been getting what seems like everybody recently. So it's been a very good 24 hours for the Longhorns. If you're a Longhorn fan, it's just really exciting. Obviously, 6'4", 320 pounds. This guy not only provides a big body in the middle of the defense, but his quick approach and strength through contact are very impressive, especially with how raw he is. Obviously, coming out of high school, very raw talent, really needs to sharpen up his footwork and, different things like that, hand placement, little things like that. But obviously that all comes with development. And Kenny Baker just showed that he ain't scared. He ain't scared to go in and do whatever he's got to do to get I think one of the top defensive linemen in the country. I don't think his star ranking really reflects that right now, but I definitely see him being one of those senior risers, especially considering, like I said, just his versatility, his athletic ability. Like I said, just very impressive. He can play all over the ball. He can be a disruptor. He can play over the middle. Like I said, his versatility is definitely what makes him one of the best D-line prospects in the entire country. This is a very widely coveted pickup for Kenny Baker and staff. And like I said, first defensive lineman commitment in the entire 2025 class, 16th overall, 16th recruit in the Texas Longhorn 2025 class. So big get for Kenny Baker. Obviously, Josiah Sharma was committed to Kalen DeBoer at Washington beforehand and visited Alabama multiple times. So leaning towards Alabama there for a second. But then once it came down to Texas, Alabama, Oregon. Those seem to be the top three for Josiah. And from what seemed, this was at the end of June, from what seemed to be a Texas leaning recruitment up until the day of, I feel like a lot of Texas fans were pretty shocked whenever Josiah ended up committing to the Ducks. And I think obviously it kind of shocked him himself because, he wasn't gone very long before being able to kind of take a step back and really feel out his commitment and feel out his recruitment and everything. And I think coming over to the pool party yesterday was just kind of his solidifying factor in receiving that commitment. Like I said, just receiving offers from all over the country, Oregon, Michigan, Georgia, LSU, you name the SEC school, and they were pretty much vying for Josiah Sharma. He's listed as a composite 4-star per 24/7, but like I said, I think the offers he's received kind of really speak for themselves on what the ceiling could be for this guy. Big flip at a very big position of need on the interior. And like I said, I'm extremely excited to see what Coach Kenny is able to do with this defensive line, because this class is really starting to come together pretty nicely. Smith Orogbo and Lance Jackson on the edges, now adding Josiah Sharma in the middle. Keep an eye out on Myron Charles, current Florida State commit. He was set to be at the pool party yesterday, but unfortunately was unable to make it. But Sark has proved time and time again that he recruits through the whistle. That's his tactic. That's as much as it frustrates us as Texas fans, as annoying as it is as Texas fans. I just feel like that's just something we got to get used to. We got to get used to getting stuffed in a locker in June and then being happy as hell in December, which I'm okay with. Like I said, Sark said, wake me up in December. Please do, because these middle months are driving me freaking nuts. But DJ Sanders, Zion Williams, current LSU commit. Obviously, those are a couple of guys that you really need to keep your eye on as well. Because like I said, Sark is recruiting through the whistle. He's not backing down. He has shown that he's not going to back down from prospects that he wants on his team. So I fully expect for Sark to make a full court press on some of these guys here pretty soon. But like I said, I fully support that. I fully support Sark doing whatever he does, but also I fully support everybody being frustrated and pissed off in June and July to a certain extent, obviously. But I just feel like the frustration does get annoying. The feeling like you're getting stuffed in a locker by teams that you don't feel like you need to be getting stuffed in a locker by, especially coming off of a conference championship. College football playoff berth, 11 players drafted. We're showing signs of development. We're showing signs of a very good culture. So it's like it hasn't really been adding up, right? So it's been really nice for Kenny Baker and Coach Sark to be able to finally get a guy that has been pretty highly ranked on their board to commit to the Longhorns. So before we move on to other prospects that kind of popped up at the Texas pool party, let's hear a word from another one of our sponsors. This episode of Locked On Longhorns is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. Number one, ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Outside of Josiah Sharma flipping his commitment, which obviously kind of took precedence over a lot of things that happened yesterday, there were many top prospects. Whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. There were a lot of top prospects on the 40 acres yesterday, including 5-star Jonah Williams, who I expect to really keep his eye on the MLB draft more so than prioritizing football. It's one of those things that this is a very talented athlete. He's a very talented athlete all around, but gives very much Kyler Murray in the sense that he will be drafted type stuff. So like I definitely look out for the MLB with this one. But we'll see how that works out, because it was reported that he did speak with Texas baseball head coach Jim Schlossnagle. So I obviously don't know He did say yesterday that Texas did squeeze into his top 3 ahead of his commitment coming up on August 24th. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I know there have been a couple of other teams vying for Jonah Williams as well. Oregon, obviously, because why wouldn't Oregon be vying for him? A&M, different programs like that, and obviously it's definitely something that we need to keep an eye on. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't have the highest of hopes for this one. Like I said, he's just a very, very good athlete and has been weighing his options, but I'll never count out Sark, especially if he has his eyes set on somebody. So definitely keep an eye out on this one because, like I said, set to commit on August 24th. So that's coming up pretty quickly. So, like I said, just keep your eyes keep your eyes peeled for this one because that one could get very, very interesting. Very, very much ebb and flow type of recruitment on the Jonah Williams front. One of the more surprising guests, in my opinion, is current Alabama D-line commit Antonio Coleman. Obviously, I wasn't really expecting him to show up. But it makes a lot of sense being from Alabama, current current teammate with Saraland quarterback KJ Lacey, current Texas commit. So obviously KJ has been kind of in his ear enough for him to want to see what we got going on the 40 acres. So we'll see if anything continues to kind of come of that. That one was really, really interesting to me. I did hear that went pretty well for Kenny Baker and company. He was once committed to Auburn, flipped his commitment from Auburn to Alabama. So obviously he's kind of stayed in state. So coming to Texas is, like I said, not necessarily shocking. I don't want to sit and say like, oh my God, I had no clue. But at the same time, wasn't really one that I had on my bingo card, if we're being completely honest. But hey, not mad at it. Very, very, very good prospect. Obviously with guys like, Hugh Freeze at Auburn and Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, those guys know what they're doing. So who am I? Who am I to sit here and question any of that? But like I said, KJ Lacey, teammates of Antonio Coleman at Saraland High School in Alabama. So we'll just definitely keep an eye out on that one. Another guy that ended up showing up was 5-star number 1 athlete in the country, Michael Terry, was on campus with his family for the pool party yesterday as well. This is another one that is seeming to be a Texas versus Oregon battle, which like I feel like I kind of touched on this already, but damn, y'all stop. Like it just becomes one of those things where obviously, we knew that Oregon was going to be making a bigger footprint in the state of Texas, a bigger recruiting footprint in the state of Texas by adding Rashad Samples onto their staff. Obviously, Rashad Samples being the son of head Duncanville head coach Reggie Samples, absolute legend of a head coach there at Duncanville. Like I said, Rashad Samples currently at Oregon right now. So we knew that they would be making a much bigger recruiting footprint in the state of Texas, but Jesus, y'all, like it's super frustrating having a team that far up north coming down into your home state and taking your top guys like that. It really grinds my gears. But I mean, like with today's day and age of NIL, transfer portal, there's so much that goes into all of it. You have just the simple fact of like kids are making money now, so they can afford to fly their parents out to Oregon, to Eugene, or to LA, or to Columbus, or to wherever. Like you have better resource. Like these guys have better resources. They have more access to these resources to be able to make it more comfortable for themselves going further away from home. So it's definitely an ebb and flow. It's definitely kind of like a roller coaster of emotions because obviously with Texas being the premier program in the state of Texas, Texas being Texas being the University of Texas, you don't want the top players in your state leaving. But like I said, just with today's day and age, it makes people's dream schools a lot more accessible, a lot more easily accessible whenever it comes to flying family out to games and, little things like that. And I know, obviously, like I said, relationships are very, very, very important in today's age. So I don't know. It's super frustrating as a Texas fan, but you know what? I digress because it's just going to keep happening. So I'm just going to let it go. Michael Terry is seeing Oregon today and will end this summer recruiting period with a surprise trip to Nebraska. I don't really see that one holding much weight. If we're being completely honest, I do think this is going to end up coming down to a Texas versus Oregon battle. Why wouldn't it? But like I said, anything can happen in this day and age of college athletics, college football. Finally, one more super intriguing prospects, in my opinion, is 2025 defensive lineman J.J. Hahn out of, I think it's Santa Margarita in California. Y'all, this guy literally just started playing, like, he will play his first games of organized football this season. Never been a football guy, didn't even start playing football until he moved to the U.S. in 2022, grew up in Germany. It's just, his upside is absolutely insane. You know, starting football last year, you know, he grew up kind of a basketball and a soccer guy, played both D-line and O-line previously whenever he was, I believe he was a part of some sort of development and recruiting program over in Europe. I believe that they have some sort of program to develop prospects and everything over there to be able to come over and play in the US and go to college and everything. But yeah, grew up a basketball and soccer fan, played both D-line and O-line while he was developing over in Europe. And has really started to hit the camp circuit this cycle and has picked up some very high-powered power four offers. My brain just my mouth gets going faster than my brain keeps going faster than my mouth. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, J.J. Hahn picks up some very high-powered Power 4 offers since really hitting the camp circuit this cycle. Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, Nebraska. So obviously this guy is a very raw prospect, but being that big body, 6'5", almost 300 pounds with quick feet and the agility that he has, I see this guy taking a very big jump going throughout his senior season. Obviously, this guy is a very high upside, and Texas is right in the thick of it with him. You know, you don't get offers from Alabama, Georgia, Nebraska, Texas. You don't get those offers without having some sort of raw ability, raw talent. And this guy is just, like I said, very high upside, very high ceiling, and just very intriguing. I'm really excited to see what he is able to do once he develops a little bit more, once he is able to become a little bit more cleaner in his, sorry, I keep like hiccuping, but I don't remember what I was saying. I don't remember what I was saying. So let's just get right into what am I saying? Words. Oh my gosh, my brain is not even working at the moment, so I apologize. But let's hear one more word from today's sponsor. I love sports. I love them so much, I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games, and the sports just aren't sporting like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open up the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone, every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most of your summer today. Now to finish off the show, I just wanted to bring some eyes to the NCAA being expected to approve increased scholarship allotment across multiple collegiate sports today. The details of this ruling are set to come out today. So all of the information that I'm about to give you is based off of what has come out since Wednesday, whenever these reports started coming out. So please bear with me if I struggle through this one. But according to Yahoo Sports, Power 4 conference commissioners have finalized roster size limits under which athletic departments will be able to allocate millions of dollars in new scholarship opportunities for student athletes. And it's not just for football. While football does see a major increase from an 85-man scholarship limit to a 105-man scholarship limit, baseball will also increase from their previous 11.7 scholarships to 34 scholarships. Basketball will increase from 13 to 15 scholarship slots, and even smaller sports like softball, volleyball, those types of sport, like smaller non-revenue sports, will also see a boost in scholarship allotment as well. So I feel like this is definitely a bigger win for the smaller sports as opposed to a sport like football, where I feel like a lot of coaches would agree in the sense that scholarship limits, that you can never have too many scholarship limits, right? It keeps words. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Let me just go back to what my point was originally. So smaller sports like softball and volleyball will also see allotment increases for their scholarship limits as well. This ruling is also expected to distribute $2.77 billion in back pay to former athletes, plus permitting schools to distribute funds upwards of $20 million plus annually in revenue sharing. So this is not just a football thing. This is spread throughout all of the program's collegiate sports. This is spread throughout all different levels of college athletics. So what exactly does this mean? Because as somebody that obviously needs things like physically laid out in front of them to really understand what is going on, I had a little bit of a hard time with this one, if we're being completely honest, but from what I gather, this just basically means that scholarship limits are being eliminated and replaced by a limit system in which each program can choose scholarship as many, or can choose two scholarships, as many or as few athletes as they please. It seems as if, like I said, this is a much bigger win for the smaller sports with less than 50 scholarships offered anyways, than it is for a sport like football, where the scholarship limit is now raised to over 100 possible offers. Mark Stoops didn't really want to talk about it very much whenever asked, but he did mention that it's not enough. Obviously, they still feel like they need more scholarships, but at the same time, SEC coaches like Lane Kiffin brought up safety concerns in regards to development and making sure that all players are getting quality reps and practice time to maintain progress and everything. And whenever you increase those scholarship opportunities, you are taking time away from the guys that aren't seeing the field as much, from the scout team, from guys that are only specifically on special teams for whatever reason. Like you're taking valuable development time away from those guys because you just have so many. You're adding 20 plus scholarship limits just in football, and like I said, that's over 100-man roster. So it's like that's a lot. That could be a lot for a coaching staff. That could be a lot for on the development side of it. And like I said, safety concerns, with, training and making sure you're maintaining all of your physical levels that you need to be maintaining. And that could be a lot harder to kind of regulate across the board when you have so many different guys. You have so many more scholarship guys that are there to kind of, you have so many more bodies. Like that's just basically is what it is. As I mentioned before, that's obviously more of a concern for football rather than sports that have smaller teams anyways, but it's definitely something to think about when diving into the ruling. I suspect that schools will be pretty hesitant to immediately up their scholarship limit, at least until more details come out in regards to revenue sharing and exactly how that part of it shakes out, especially whenever smaller schools, schools that don't have unlimited NIL budgets like Texas or Oregon or whoever the case may be, obviously, schools that don't bring in as high of revenue, that is something that they have to take into consideration as well. So there's a lot that goes into it. There are so many different opinions, so many different sides. Tell me what you guys think. I don't really know. Like I said, this is a little bit difficult for me to understand just because like I said, I think I will understand it a lot better once the details actually come out and I'm able to fully read through everything. But as of right now, I think it's a great thing. I think that it could end up being very, 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 very beneficial for athletes and all of the student athletes that are in your smaller revenue sports. I think that it provides opportunities for athletes and everything in smaller revenue sports. So I'm really excited to see what actually comes of this. Like I said, the details of this ruling are set to be released today. So please make sure you please make sure you subscribe to Locked On Longhorns to stay up to date on all things happening on the 40 acres, because with the season right around the corner, we're going to be having a lot of fun on this channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Locked On Longhorns. Please make sure to like this video, comment down below who your must-get prospect of 2025 is. Also, let us know what you think of the NCAA ruling and how you feel about the details once they come out, because this is a lot. There's a lot of changes happening in our sport. There's a lot of changes happening to the programs that we love. So it's good to stay up to date as much as humanly possible. So please, please, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every single time we upload. Because like I said, y'all, Jonathan and I are very, very, very excited for the upcoming season, and even more excited to bring y'all all your Longhorn content every day of the week. So thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll see you guys next time. Hook 'em horns.